Hello. It's been a while. It's been half a year. Um, Yet again, I'm surprised to see people are here at all. Uh, but thank you for being here. Um, I told you I fixed it. I couldn't believe it. It only took me like a minute. Now, I might have started streaming, but that does not mean I'm prepared. I'm absolutely not prepared. You can't hear me? You can't hear me? Hello? You can't hear me? Not muted, but very, very low. Joel, are you sure you don't just have your volume all the way down? Alright. So we're back. Like I said, it's been a while. It's been since August was the last stream we had. A lot of things have happened. It was loud enough for music, turning it up now. Huh. Okay. Um, but I guess I can turn it up a little bit. But a lot has happened in the last 6 months, and we'll get to it. I don't know. Is the hat giving vibes, or is hat bad vibes? Do we like the hat? Do we want the hat off? Show my crazy hair. But yeah, a lot has happened in the last 6 months. I don't know. Should I start with the small stuff or the big stuff? I guess I'll start with the big thing. The main reason why I haven't been streaming is because I finally have a full-time job. Hooray! After many years and many trials and tribulations, I have a full-time job that now prevents me from streaming on a regular basis, which is both a blessing and a curse. I wish somebody told me years ago about this infinite money hack that's called working. That nobody told me that you would just like get money for doing stuff. Like, I wish somebody would have told me that sooner. But I finally caught on, so I'm glad to see that. Or I'm glad to finally be making money, because certainly this was not making me money. No offense to you guys. But, yeah, so I'm working now. I thought the beard was the big news. Do you like it? I actually trimmed it, which is, I don't know, like, it's very patchy. It's very not good. But it was longer, and it looked more full, but mostly just because it was like the longer hair was just like covering up stuff. It wasn't actually growing in. But it also looked like I was a homeless person. Even more than I currently do, because I kind of do anyway. How would you have liked it if I started this stream and it was just like an IRL stream and I was just like under a highway? I was just like a homeless person under a highway begging for money. Like, I'm back, guys. I really need your help. I really need some support right now. That's why I came back to streaming. Swag or homeless, maybe both. Hey, get rich or die trying, you know. So yeah, so the job, that's pretty much the biggest thing. Honestly, nothing. Do that for your next stream. I could. Next stream under a highway, just. And then now that I have a job, my employer finds my stream and is like, "What were you doing live streaming under a highway, acting like you're homeless. And I say, you're not paying me enough, bro. That's why. I'm asking for a raise. After 5 months of being here, I'm asking for a raise. But yeah, so I got a new job. In fact, my last stream I checked before this was August 17th. I did the interview for that job. Well, let me look at the calendar. I did the interview for that job August 25th? Either August 25th or 26th. Got it. Started working in late October, so I had to wait a little bit. But it's been going well ever since. I really enjoy it. It's fun and engaging. The funny thing was, and here's another thing that happened to me. So I started, like I said, in late October, like right around Halloween, the week of Halloween. 2 weeks after I started this job, I got called to jury duty. I got the jury duty summons, and so I go there, you know, like you get called to jury duty, and what that really means is like you go to the courthouse and you get put in a big room, and they'll call you up and basically be like, oh, well, maybe we'll, you know, you might be part of the jury, you might be part of a jury. So I go in and they're like, hey, we have two cases we need filling juries for. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, oh god. Not to mention that I feel like my job, like my career, my vocation lends itself to being picked as a juror because of what I do for my job. So I feel like they probably looked at me and were like, this guy's a therapist. He'd make a perfect juror. All he does all day is sit around and listen to people. He's a good listener. He'll listen to the facts and the evidence. He's perfect. So as soon as they called me up, which is crazy because like you're in this room, and both the defense attorney and the prosecution are at this table with the defendant. So the defendant's at this table, and they just call you up one by one. You go up and they ask you some questions, like they're interviewing you. And so I get called up. They ask me some questions. They ask me about my job. They ask me about random stuff. And then like they're like, okay, you can go back into the waiting room. And then like 2 minutes later, they're like, you're picked. And I was like, oh my god. So not only is that bad, I got picked. It was a 6-day trial. It was a 6-day trial. Actually, I think when it started, no, they didn't say it was a 6-day trial. They said it would go from, that was on a Wednesday. So it started up from Wednesday and it was supposed to go to the next Wednesday. So a 6-day trial. So I was at work for 2 weeks, and then immediately they're like, all right, we're pulling you out. You're going to jury duty for 6 days. So, I mean, my part of it is over now, so I'm pretty sure I can share details. I'm not gonna like talk about all of I'm not gonna like name names of like jurors or anything, but it was a double homicide case. And so literally the first day, like the day I was picked, pretty much as soon as I was picked, we went right into the case. And so I go in there and I'm just thinking that day, like, okay, I hope I don't get picked. And then by the end of the day, I'm in the courtroom with the judge, the defendants, the, prosecution, everybody. And they're the first witness they have, like, they give their opening statements. And then the first witness they have up is the coroner's office, like the examiner. And so the first thing they show is like autopsy pictures of, the victims were a woman and her, I think, 4-year-old daughter that were both shot. And so I go in on this random Wednesday. I'm just like, I hope I don't get picked for anything. That would suck. And then by the end of the movie, I'm looking at a little girl shot to death. Pictures of that. I'm like, this is horrible. Like, this is like the worst day I've ever had in my life. I couldn't believe it. It just went terribly. But yeah, so that's. Sorry, can you hear that? Hold on. Isn't there like streamer mode for Discord, like where you don't get freaking? Hold up. All right, but anyway, so yeah, that day was terrible. And then, yeah, you were checking yours. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. But so yeah, I go in. I'm immediately bombarded with that. The girl was shot to death in the side. The woman was shot in the in the forehead, like just a bullet hole in her forehead. And we're looking at these pictures first day. Terrible. I went home that day and I was like, I cannot believe the day I've had. I was telling like my parents, you're not supposed to talk, like, you can't talk about the case itself, but I was just like, this was a terrible day. So then the case goes on. Like I said, it's 6 days. Also, just things keep happening. Like, it gets delayed. There was a day, like, we almost had to call the trial because we almost ran out of jurors. Because, like, one of our jurors, like, their dad passed away, so they had to leave. Like, they were out. And then another one of the jurors, like, their house flooded. And so they were like, I can't come in today. Like, I gotta deal with my house being underwater, basically. So, like, we were down to 12 because you start with 2, like, backups, right? You start with 2 alternates. So we were down to 12, like, in a couple days, basically. And, we were like, well, we can't just go with 12 because then if anything else happens, like, then we're just done. Like, we're screwed. Like, we gotta call a hung jury, or not a hung jury, a mistrial. So we waited for that guy whose house flooded. So basically, one of the days, I think it was that Friday, we came in, we heard that that guy's house flooded, and that he wasn't coming in. They were trying to decide what to do, and then after like 30 minutes of being there, they were like, go home. We're just gonna postpone this till Monday because we don't want to, like, if we did anything without him, he would be out as a juror, and then we would only be down to 12, and if anything else happened, it would be a mistrial. So we were just, so many things happened. Like, there was one day where, like, we ended early because they just didn't have any witnesses present. Like, none of their witnesses were there at that time. It was crazy. There was also really interesting, it was an interesting time while it was happening, even though it was very frustrating. Like, one of the one of the witnesses was part of the shooting. Like, he was shot at. Like, he was basically, the shooting, what happened was, and there's footage of it. I think it was 5 guys were walking down the street. There was, the woman who died, her boyfriend, and her daughter in the car. They just walk by, and then as soon as they get close to them, they just open fire. Like, they just pull the guns out of their pockets and start shooting, like, out of nowhere. So the guy survived, and he was there testifying in court. And just when he walked in, you're like, this dude does not want to be here. And the defense even asked him, like, by testifying here, were you, but, like, he was like, by testifying here, were you, promised, like, not immunity, but, like, I think it was immunity for a federal charge that you would have, like, been charged with. And he was like, yeah, like, that's why I'm here. And it's like, oh my god, there is, like, no likable person in this entire case except the little daughter. But also crazy was that there were two defendants. One was a jury trial who we were deciding on, and then the other guy was a bench trial, which means that the judge decides on it. So he was there. It was using all the same evidence because they were co-conspirators. But we didn't get to decide on the one guy. It was the judge, but we had to decide on the one guy. So basically, the evidence that they had for these two was that it was on camera, like them picking up the car that was used, and then you could see the car driving around town through traffic cameras and things like that, and like license plate cameras. They got out at a gas station where you could see them, kind of, like they were wearing masks, but then they get back in the car, then they pull up and they shoot, and then they get in that same car. And you could tell it was the same car because one of its headlights were out. So I was like, okay, well, that makes it kind of easy to tell. And there was also some crazy stuff. Like, they had an FBI guy there who was like a phone tracking expert, whatever. And so they were able to use, like, cell tower pings to, like, triangulate where he was at any given minute, so you could see how it, like, followed where he was at, like, through the cameras. So you knew it was him that was there, unless he gave somebody else's phone for some reason. So then we get to the end, and I'm like, okay, I vote guilty, because, you don't see him. It's not... Also, our guy, the guy we were voting on, or not voting, that we were deliberating on, he was the getaway driver. So that's one of the things that we were confused about until the closing arguments, because they never told us which of these, like, 6 or 5 dudes who was supposed to be the guy sitting there that we were deciding on, until the very, like, closing statements. They're like, he was the driver. And so you're like, oh, well, that makes sense, because you can't really see him in the shooting video. But yeah, so when they were like, he's the driver, it's like, oh, okay, well then, yeah, it's probably him, So we go to that, and when we first go to deliberations, I was like, we go to deliberations, and it was like 50-50. It was like 50-50 guilty, 50, like 6 guilty, 6 not guilty was the, like, initial vote. Okay. And so, I was like, all right, we gotta start discussing here, So, I'm asking, like, what, to the people who voted not guilty, I was like, what do you need to see to, like, change your vote? And I asked, like, what, there was a lot of discussions about what beyond a reasonable doubt meant. That was a big topic of discussion. Eventually, like, we had some questions. People were like, okay, if I can go back in the video, like, they misremembered things or something, and, like, they didn't see something in a video, so they were like, if I see this in the video, it would really change my mind. So they let us go back into the courtroom and watch the videos on the big screen, because I guess the videos, we weren't allowed to, like, watch them. Like, they didn't give us, like, a tablet or something to watch the video on. So we had to go back in and watch and be like, can you rewind it? Like, because we couldn't do it. So yeah, after that, it got to 11-1. It was 11-1. Guilty versus not guilty. And let me tell you, this was the most frustrating day of my life, I think. It was like, I don't want to be rude to this person, but I don't really care. I'm not naming names or anything, or even giving descriptors, but it reminded me of 12 Angry Men, okay? If any of you have ever watched 12 Angry Men, it reminded me of 12 Angry Men if Henry Fonda's character, like, had brain damage or something. Like, well, yeah, Cosmo, like, because we were very, like, you know, we wanted to make it very fair, so I asked everybody who... I was actually the foreman, too. So I was the one who was gonna, like... I was in kind of charge of things. So I asked everybody who, like, said not guilty. And I said, you know, I asked each of them, like, okay, we're going back in to watch this video. Like, what would you need to see in this video to change your vote? You know? Like, what would you need to change your vote? And I, you know, asked that of people who said guilty, too. But it seemed to me pretty... Like, it seemed like the people who said guilty were pretty, like, okay, I believe beyond a reasonable doubt. While the not guilty people were kind of just like, I have some questions that I'm just, like, not so sure about right now, right? So I asked all of them, like, what do you need to see? So then that's how, you know, they saw those things in the video and were like, okay, I said if I saw this, then I'd change my vote, so they did. But this last person, holy crap, was just a menace. Like, just one of the most stubborn, arrogant people. Like, they just would not budge. To the point that, I mean, it was like talking to a wall, honestly. It got to the point where it was like, I actually, you know, talked to one of the other jurors, like, I've kept in touch with them, and after the end, we were like, was she, like, paid off or something? Like, we were pretty convinced that, like, the defense, like, paid her off or something. Like, her arguments just made no sense. At one point, her argument was just that, like, she doesn't trust cops, and that because of that, she said not guilty, like, for no other reason. Yeah, it also very much probably was, like, for attention. But it was so bad, though, that it ended up in a hung jury. She said, literally as soon, like, pretty much immediately when we got back there, like, I'm voting not guilty. There is nothing you can do to change my mind. No matter what you show me, no matter what evidence you provide, I'm voting not guilty. So immediately we're like, well, this is fucked. Like, this is pointless. So we go about it for, like, I don't even remember, like, 6 hours, I think. Which, to be fair, for deliberation is not that long. Like, deliberation can go for, like, days, right? If it's, like, hung. In fact, we were in the news, and maybe I should pull up the article. Hold on. I forget what his name is. Oh wait, I have my. Hold on. We'll see if I can go grab that, but because I have my, like, juror number slip over there. I wonder if it has their names on it. But yeah, so, like, deliberations can go for days, but we just got to a point after, like, 5-6 hours that it was just like, this woman, like, there's just no... sorry, I gave out some details, but she just would not budge. Like, it was just no point in talking to her, and just us talking to her, like, made us mad, pretty much. So we were like, we probably aren't going to come to a decision, because we all know, like, us 11 are all in agreement, and she's just obstructing this whole jury, basically. Um, and so I was the foreman. So maybe the second worst thing that happened to me, beyond, like, obviously that first day when we had to go in and I got picked, and then I had to see, those autopsy pictures. Those were terrible. The second thing was when we went back into the room and the victim's family is all there and everything. And I was the foreman, so I had to read the outcome. And so I was the one that had to stand up and say, we, the jury, could not come to a verdict. We were hung. Like we were hopelessly hung or something like that. And so, and just the look, I felt so terrible because the look on their faces was just like, justice was just like not served. Like, straight up, like, justice was not served that day, and that family was distraught because the person that killed or was an accomplice in killing, their daughter and granddaughter, like, didn't go to jail like he should have, or prison, I should say. I guess the one good thing was that because it was a hung jury, that means he's going to get tried again. So this year, 2026, because that was in November. So he's going to get tried again. And if this jury has any common sense, he will be found guilty. So in the other one, like I said, there were two defendants. One that we were deliberating on, and then one that the judge was deliberating on. He gave his verdict the next Monday, and thankfully he found the other guy guilty. So that was good. At least one of them is, was found guilty, and the other one hopefully soon to be. Also, I'm going to reveal it's water. Nobody picked water. Nobody wins. Nobody wins. Basically Diet Coke. It's true, there's 0 calories, so. So yeah, that happened. That was terrible. Just bad experience all around. It's not really a cup. It's a liquid, container. What is a cup if not that? What is a cup if not a liquid container? So, yeah, that happened. What else happened? What happened in your guys' lives? Your guys' lives. What's happened in your guys' lives? Let me turn into a therapist real quick. Also, you like the music? You like the jazz? I've become kind of a jazz fan recently. I guess it comes with being a professional now. I started listening to jazz and drinking coffee. 2 known very good things for you, right? Nobody? Nothing? Nothing's happened. What kind of therapy do I do? The mental kind. The mental kind of therapy. I'm not in physical therapy. I'm not a physical therapist. Some would call me a psychotherapist. That is kind of my job description. Although my degree is in counseling. Can you teach me how to astral project? I would if I could. I don't think that's, like, really possible. Unless you're, like, on mushrooms or something. Maybe then. Anything is possible then. But yeah, nothing's happened in your guys' lives. Nothing worth mentioning. How's your 2026 going? Is it good? We're 2 months down. I mean, it's already March. I did scuba diving for the first time and saw corals and sharks and turtles. That's sick. That's sick. I've always wanted to go scuba diving, but I feel like that's something I would actually be very scared of. Like, I've always wanted to go skydiving too, but I feel like I'd be much less scared of skydiving than scuba diving. Just because I think hitting the ground very fast, would be a lot less painful than drowning, pretty much, I think. But yeah. Nobody else? Nothing? I don't want to have a trainer strapped to my back to learn skydiving. Why? That's the protection. What do you want? You want to just go cold turkey? Just like let me do it. Just let me do it by myself. You'd have to sign all kinds of liability paperwork if you were just like, I don't want to be instructed by a trainer. I want to. I'm too tall. It would look like I'm wearing a human backpack. That sounds sick though. Having a human backpack, that sounds sick. So yeah, other things for me. I'm gonna be honest. So I'll get into why I'm streaming. Why am I streaming again? Why today? Today of all days. Why am I streaming with seemingly nothing to talk about? So a couple reasons. One, I just kind of felt the itch to get back into streaming. I felt the urge. I felt the innate human urge to get on camera and talk to strangers on the internet. The urge that's existed within humans since the dawn of time. Since the first steps taken out of the water and onto this land. Okay? And two, I didn't like, it's kind of similar, but I didn't like the fact that my channel was just dead. I feel like I had something, and this happens every time I don't stream for a while and then stream again, whereas it's like, I just don't like that. Every time I go on YouTube, I'm reminded that like I have a YouTube channel and that I enjoyed streaming and that I just don't do it anymore. So that's a big reason too. 3 is there's a game coming out this week that I'm very excited for, and I would kind of like to stream it. So this is kind of like a setup stream. Get back in the swing of things, because then I would like to stream that game. And that game is Slay the Spire 2, which is releasing. If you any longtime fans might remember that Slay the Spire was one of the first things I ever streamed. I think it's like my second or third stream was Slay the Spire. And Slay the Spire is the game that I have the most hours in of any video game. I have, hold on, let me look at my Steam. I currently have 1,238 hours in the original Slay the Spire. Ow. So, needless to say, I am very excited for this new one coming out on Thursday. I don't know if I'll be able to stream Thursday. Might have to wait till Friday. But that's just the thing. Like, my schedule is so crazy. Like, I wish I could have been able to stream more over these past few months. I really wish I did take the opportunity to when my schedule wasn't so crazy, because when I was starting, I was building up a caseload. Now I'm pretty full and I just don't really have time. And I get off work, depending on the day, either at 6 or 7. But that doesn't make it very easy to stream because when you get off work at 6 or 7, and you have to get up for work the next morning, it makes it pretty tough. Especially because usually, even after I'm done working, I have notes to do. So I like have homework, because I usually leave right when my last session is done. So I have work to do when I get home. And I don't know how I would feel about, leaving from work, coming home, streaming, and then leaving my work to do until after that. Even though technically I have, like, time, a little bit of time to do it. But also just usually when I'm done with work, I am just mentally drained. And so I don't know how I would feel about coming home from a long day of work and getting on camera in front of everybody. But I guess there's only really one way to find out. So I think this Friday, I might test that theory. Now, because it's Friday, what I think helps is that I can do a late night stream. So I can come home at 7, relax a little bit, and then maybe stream at like 9 or 10 and just have like a late night thing for anybody else who doesn't have a social life on Fridays. But I just think it would be really cool to play, the sequel to like my favorite game of all time live on stream with you guys. I think that'd be really fun. I think I would enjoy that. So that's another reason why I wanted to start streaming again. It was because there's something coming up that I'm like, I would really like to stream this. I think that'd be cool. I'll be one of the top Slay the Spires 2 streamers. Do you believe in me, guys? I'll be the #1 Slay the Spire 2 streamer on YouTube. Bet. It's gonna happen. And then the third thing is I've been asked by people, and I've talked to different people about making videos. And the idea of making videos, if you have noticed on my channel, I have like 3 videos, and they're not very long, and they're all pretty much, well, they're crap, but they're also just very low effort. They're just like, I went somewhere and I filmed something, or like I just read something into the screen, and stuff like that. But I was talking to some friends. Namely, I talked to Cereza. If anybody knows Cereza, friend. He's a good friend. And, we talked about, wanting to do something, like wanting to make something that really spoke to me, like as a person. And so one of those things is movies. I really love movies. And I know there is a dearth of movie review channels on YouTube. And so I'm still kind of trying to figure out what it might be. Or even if it is specifically movie related. I would kind of like to just make videos about whatever if I could. But it'll take time because my biggest hurdle with videos, and the reason why my videos are the way they are, is that I hate editing very much. Now, to be fair, I have experimented with it a lot. It is very much just like a first, experience, like just, trying it for the first time, even with something small, and be like, I don't like this. But I kind of, with most things, if you want to get something done, you're going to have to wade through some shit, okay, to get to the end goal. So I think at some point in the future, hopefully soon, um, I'll be learning again and trying to make something. So right now I'm kind of in the very early stages. Like when I say I talked about this with Cereza, I mean like literally like last night. Like last night I was like I should he was like you should make something. You should like make a movie review or something like that. Um, and I was like, you know what, maybe you're right. And I was like, you know what, also I think I'm gonna stream tomorrow, you know, just to put the word out there that I'm back up. Um, and so yeah, I think look out for that in the coming months because I don't expect it to be done anytime soon. The one idea I had, um, depending on how big of a scope I wanted to do, would take a long time, like a very long time, like months by itself. So probably not that one to start. I may start with just a humble movie review. Um, but I think there's a space for that because a lot of the movies I watch, there's not a lot of um, content on it, to be honest. And a lot of the movies I do watch that do have content are very philosophical, right? They're very like thinky, they're video essays. They're like, oh, let me talk about this movie for like 20 minutes about its deeper meanings and stuff like that. And I love that stuff. I eat that up. Um, I watch those things. But I also think there's a space to talk about some of these more, I don't know, like pretentious movies in a more welcoming way, like a more easily digestible like format. And I think that's something I could do. Um, but yeah, I have a lot of ideas for, well, not a lot of ideas, but there's a lot of things broadly that I feel like I could make videos about. Obviously, movies, um, therapy, and like psychology stuff. I would love to tie those two things together, except that there's already a channel called Cinema Therapy, uh, which I love. I love that channel. But then there is a niche though because they, first of all, they know what they're doing. They talk again about a lot of mainstream movies. They talk a lot about like Disney movies, big action movies, blockbusters, popular like even like rom coms and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, well, what if I took that? I'm a therapist, and I like movies, but I'm watching like Andrei Tarkovsky and Bergman and Federico Fellini. Like could be a spot, bro. Could be a niche there. I'm just saying. I don't know if you guys would enjoy it. I apologize if you don't. Imagine if you reviewed 12 Angry Men with comparisons to your own experience. That would be really funny. Except I feel like I would have to go more in depth. Like, you're really not supposed to talk about what happens in deliberation. And, I didn't talk too in detail. I just said, like, we were at 6-6. Then it went to 11-1, and it was stalemated. But I feel like it could be interesting though, looking at it from a standpoint of like this is what an ideal jury looks like. People there's well, maybe not ideal, but like this is how justice plays out. Even though probably a high likelihood in 12 Angry Men that kid did kill his dad probably. Although actually I don't agree with that because I think they disproved some of the evidence. But yeah, that would be a funny video. But yeah, that takes me to another thing that involves movies. Is that another thing happening with me right now? Is I have a goal, a personal goal for 2026. People have New Year's resolutions and goals, and they're like, "This is how I'm gonna better myself. This is how I'm gonna, uh, do good and blah blah blah." Then there's me, okay, and my goal for 2026 was I wanted to watch 150 new movies. So yeah, my goal this year is to watch 150 movies that I've never seen before. And I'm making good progress. I'm up to 35 right now, or around 35. I haven't really counted since like 30, like 30. So, but that's the goal, is to see if I can get to 150. Um, which, if doing some math, that's just a little less than once every other day. Um, and yes, I am on schedule with that pace. However, I haven't watched any movies this weekend yet, so after this stream, I'll have to watch something if I want to maintain my pace. Because I haven't watched anything since. I'm looking at my list right here of the movies I've watched. I haven't watched anything since like Wednesday, so I'm on a cold streak. I'm off of it. The last thing I watched was Persona, Ingmar Bergman. Um, Tom Cruise says he watches a movie every day. Yeah, well, Tom Cruise doesn't like have a 9 to 5, or in my case, a 9 to 6 or 10 to 7. So he can afford to do that. And also, I feel like bro has had to have watched like most of the like important movies by now, right? Like, I know there's like millions of movies, but I mean, he doesn't have to watch all. You don't have to watch all of the movies, man. You do not have to watch all of the Netflix slop that like straight to DVD like Hallmark movies. Thoughts on AI being used in movie making? Thoughts on AI in general is bad. I hate AI. I don't like it. Ironic considering one of my most recent streams was very much in part by AI. Basically, the tournament, the dating game tournament. I worked with someone that would walk on a treadmill and watch a movie every day. I can't pay attention to a movie doing that. See, I also this is an actual like, I know I said that was my goal for the year, and it is, but an actual goal I've been trying to do more recently is to stop multitasking. Stop like overstimulating myself. Basically, like, I have a problem where like, and I think people in general do, especially younger people nowadays, where they overstimulate themselves with things. They do 2 or 3 things at a time. Like, they'll watch a movie while they're playing a game on the side, and like, I got 2 monitors, so that happens a lot, where like, I'll watch something and then I'll be playing usually like Slay the Spire or something that I can just like do with one hand, while I'm sitting back and like half paying attention to the movie, which I know is bad. Or like, I'll do notes and stuff while I'm listening to music, and or like watching a video or something. And I was like, this is terrible for me, and I need to slow down because I am getting dopamine burnout, and I need to reset to a baseline, a good healthy baseline where I'm not trying to fill every second of my day with things, right? Or like double things, like, just do one thing at a time. You're in no rush. Like, be able to just sit with yourself for a couple minutes and not feel the need to watch a video, listening to music, eat something. That's another big problem, is like, if I'm doing nothing, I'll get bored and snack, which is not good. I said also, I just realized I haven't had my light on. So my face has just been obscured by the darkness this whole time. Um, so that's great. Love that. But yeah, that's something I've been trying to do. That's much more recent. That's just been like the last 2 weeks, pretty much. Trying to do that, but so far, so good. I've cut down, not entirely, but I just think we go too fast as a society right now. Everything is, I mean, everybody knows that, right? Everybody says like we're too on our phones, we're too online at all times, we're too overstimulated, we're too, connected, right? But things are set up so we can just get like an infinite dopamine loop into our brain, and it's not healthy, because our baseline, we can grow a tolerance, right? We can grow a tolerance to dopamine in our brain, and the more we're constantly being flooded with dopamine, the more tolerance we get, and the more and more we need to feel happy and feel excited and things like that. Whereas, like, if we were at a more healthy baseline, like when, I watched a movie, part of a movie, I didn't get through it all the way. I need to. It's called Jean Dielman something. It's, if you look up Jean Dielman, like Jeanne, I don't remember how I spell the last name, but it's like a 3.5 hour movie, and a lot of it is just like silent, her, like, no talking, like her just doing chores and stuff, like cooking dinner, like setting the bed, eating, taking a bath, like. But I watched it, and it just reminded me, like, man, even just in the 80s, in France, I guess, too, maybe it was different in France, but just the lack of stimulation that people had at all times. Like, when you were in your home, you were kind of, like, free from that stuff. Like, they had a TV, but they, like, didn't have it on all the time. Like, they didn't have it on while they were watching, or while they were eating dinner or something, In fact, she tells her son, like, no reading at the table. I was like, are you kidding me? No reading at the table. We look at reading and we're like, wow, that's a good thing. Like, if you read, you're, like, stimulating your mind. Meanwhile, nowadays, kids are, like, at the table with an iPad playing a video game while they're watching Family Guy reruns and, like, watching somebody get frame mogged in real time, like, but, yeah, I destimulate while I sleep. Well, I think we should destimulate a majority of the day, to be honest. That's like my biggest doomer. That's like my biggest doomer opinion, is that we are just kind of writing our own demise mentally, because of our dependence on electronics and stimulus and all these kinds of things. Like, I read an article that, this generation now, like right below me, like Gen Alpha, right? They've grown up with like Chromebooks and iPads being part of like school, like they're part of education. Like, a lot of their work is on these electronics, and they're like the first generation, like, ever to have worse, reading levels and other, like, comprehension levels than the generation before them. Like, they're the first generation ever to go backwards, or at least in a long time. And it's probably because of, the internet and electronics and all these things. It is literally making people more stupid. It is literally slowing down children's development, or halting it in some cases. And, you can see its effect on kids, too. The amount of anxiety it causes and depression. um, attention spans, inability to make decisions. All of these things are like known outcomes of too much electronics usage. And people were just like, yeah, but like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's such a black pill, man. Like, it's so sad, you know? And like, I tell all my clients, like, if they're a parent, I'm like, man, what do you think about smartphones and tablets? And I'm trying to tell people, like, do not get your child a smartphone or tablet. Do not do it. Get them a smartphone when they turn like 16 or something. Before that, they can do with like a flip phone or something. Or a desktop. Get them a desktop and put it in like the home office. Put it in like the kitchen. Not the kitchen, like the dining room. Somewhere that they're like monitored. Somewhere that like they can't just be on it. Not like monitored for their privacy. Like you don't have to see the screen, but just like somewhere where you can see like, hey, you've been on that for like 2 hours. Like maybe time to get off, bro. Like that kind of stuff. Cause I'm dooming, man. I'm dooming about what the future holds for this next generation. I don't think it's gonna be good. What are Ian's thoughts? What are Ian's thoughts about this coming apocalypse? If you're here, maybe you fell asleep. I don't know. If you fell asleep, though, I'd be honored because it means maybe my voice is soothing. Because I don't think it is. I'm dooming about jobs. What kind of jobs? Like losing jobs to AI or just like jobs in general? Getting a job? Your voice in jazzy music is soothing. Why, thank you. I just hope that this. I looked up copyright free jazz music. I really hope that this does not get me, like, you know, copyright claimed. That would suck. Flam is taking what I said to heart. He's playing 2 other games while watching this. What are my favorite jazz artists? Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie with you. Like, I'm very new into enjoying it. But like, I like Wayne Shorter. I mean, Louis Armstrong is like kind of whatever. Like, you know him already. I like Miles Davis. I actually think one of the things that I really watched that made me start liking it or getting into it more was I watched a movie called Elevator to the Gallows, which is it's a French noir movie during the Nouvelle Vague, so like the French New Wave, and so it's a French New Wave noir movie. And the score is done by Miles Davis, which is just insane for like a noir movie. And not only was it made by Miles Davis, and it has its own soundtrack. Like you can just buy the soundtrack, which I don't think was very common in like that time, especially for like a French movie. You know that you could buy like buy a soundtrack to a French movie in the United States. But also like he just like winged it. Like he just improvised it. Like they just showed him the movie and him and his band just like watched the movie and like played along to it, and that was the soundtrack, and it's really good. Yeah, Elevator to the Gallows, it's pretty good. It's not like the best Nouvelle Vague movies, but it's cool. And I think that part about it, like with Miles Davis doing the soundtrack, I think it elevates it. It's cool. But yeah, so that's kind of. I'm still. most of the time when I listen to jazz, I just like go on to the Spotify playlists and just play jazz playlists. So I don't know a lot of the individual like artists, which I should do the more and more I get into it. Um, I know Wayne Shorter. I think that's his name, Wayne Shorter. Something Shorter. Stan Getz. All right, I'll have to remember that. Yeah, what's up, Cereza? You were mentioned already. Uh, yeah, Wayne Shorter. I knew of Wayne Shorter because when I was on the. No, I just was talking about that we were talking about me streaming and maybe making videos, that you were telling me I should do that, and that's kind of why I am streaming today. Um, but what was I saying? Where was I? Oh yeah, I know of Wayne Shorter because when I went on that cruise, the one where I went alone. That cruise had a jazz bar, like a jazz lounge, like where they had a jazz band that would play every night, and it was really cool. And I remember I went there one night and they played a song, and I obviously they were just playing a lot of stuff, so it sounded good, but I didn't know what it was because they weren't like, this song is blah blah blah. But the one I do remember is that they said this is Black Nile by Wayne Shorter, and so that's one of the ones I played before stream. So I really like that song, and that's how I discovered Wayne Shorter, because I was like, oh, an actual jazz artist that I can like look up and listen to, like that's pretty cool. Plus he's a saxophonist, so like I like saxophone. I used to play saxophone. I was never good. I stopped before I got to high school, but yeah, I like jazz. So yeah, Cereza, we've talked so far. I talked about just coming back. I talked about being homeless. I talked about going to court. I talked about all these things. I talked about all that stuff. That you know of, right? But yeah, I just talked about jury duty and getting a job, and how getting a job is, a secret money glitch that not many people know about. It's kind of a hidden tactic. Thank you. It's not great. Like, you can. I trimmed it to be shorter because it was like under, or it was like out of control. The thing was, when it was out of control, it was long, and so it would cover up some of the gaps. Now it's more trim, but it doesn't fill up the gaps now. Like you can see, like right here, I just can't grow anything right here. This spot right here specifically. But yeah, so anyway. Yet again, how are you guys doing? Because you didn't really answer me earlier. We talked about skydiving. We talked about snorkeling. Not snorkeling. Scuba diving. All kinds of diving. Another stream. I want to come up with a good... I want to come up with another good Google Forms stream. Let me write that down. Need another good Google Forms stream. We haven't had one of those in a while, and I feel like it would be fun. Those always hit, bro. The Google Forms streams. Oh, another thing that changed is something that I unfortunately can no longer do on streams. So like RIP to the whiteboard. We can no longer use the whiteboard on streams. It's an end of an era, I kind of used it less and less towards the end anyway, but can no longer use the whiteboard. because it's no longer at my house. It's at my office now. So I use it to draw with people at work. So RIP. RIP the whiteboard. Many a good bit was had with the whiteboard. I need drawing therapy. To be fair, I need to come up with more reasons to use it. Like, use the whiteboard. Because, you know, typically, like, drawing and stuff, that gets used with younger kids. I don't see little kids. I see 12 and up. So I have mostly just like used it to do like genograms and sociograms, like drawing out basically like family trees and like social maps and things like that, like who's important to this person, to the client. I've not really used it for much else, but I need to think of stuff. I need to think of more reasons to use it. It does feel like it still would probably be limited to like my teen kids, because I can't imagine like having a 40 or 50-year-old guy or something and being like, all right, today we're gonna draw some stuff. Did you watch the Key and Peele sketch, Planning a Heist, just like what you said about getting paid to do a job? No, but I should. I don't. I used to watch like all of the Key and Peele sketches, like when Key and Peele first started. But then I don't know, as it went on, not that they got worse. I just like I didn't know when the show stopped. Like, when did the show stop? Did it keep going until like later than I thought? Because I keep seeing new ones, and I'm like, I used to watch like everything. But I still see some good. I still see some good ones that pop up. I still quote the. I only ever saw internet, but well, yeah, the Key and Peele show was pretty much just those skits, and then like they were interspersed with like them in like front of a studio audience, which is weird. Like, I don't even know why that was there. Just to fill time, I guess. But they had some great stuff. I still quote the well, I still quote multiple. I still quote the inner city substitute teacher one pretty often. I still yeah, the Aaron and D Nice, and the football one, the All-Star game, which are both just about funny names. I like the one where the rapper gets arrested and they're like playing his songs because he like admitted to a crime in it, and he's like, "Nah, that's not me. That's not me." And he's just saying like, "I killed this guy with my, you know, Glock 19 with this serial number." The sweating meme gif. Ah, yeah. I forget which one that's from. I didn't mean to shoot. He caught me by surprise. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. See, this is bringing me back. This is fun. Again, I wish I came up with something more to do. But I'm thinking of stuff for future streams. Oh, I also said, Cereza, that the sequel to my most played game of all time comes out this Thursday, so I'm probably gonna stream that either Thursday or Friday night. So, yeah. And I understand you people, okay, I get it. If it's Friday night, I'll do it like late, like 9 or 10. Which is also okay because like I only get off work at 7, and so I'm gonna be working till like 8, doing notes and stuff. Anyway, but yeah, so I don't know. What do we want to do? I feel like I do. I have anything else to talk about? What else happened to me over these 6 months? Hmm. Hmm. Honestly, besides the job, not a lot, to be honest. Um, oh, actually, right after my last stream, um, I don't know if I said, but last year my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and so she went through chemotherapy and had a surgery to remove, some organs. And the week of my birthday, I think it was like on my birthday or like the day before, she went into remission. So that happened over these past 6 months, like right after my last stream. So that's good. It has stayed that way so far, which is great. Um, yeah, rounds of applause. Yay. I don't need to make a montage of all the times you could like hear my mom's voice on streams, which was typically just like when I think the one that was she was most on was when I did the Thanksgiving stream in the kitchen, and she was just like sitting downstairs like watching TV or something, and she could just basically hear everything I was saying and would just shout up sometimes. So that was, shout out to that. Um, but yeah, so I'm trying to think. Anything else happen? Um, Halloween, no. Thanksgiving, nothing really. Christmas, what did I get for Christmas? I got a new monitor. I got a chain. I got. What else did I get? I don't know. I don't know what I got. I got a watch. I got. What all did I get? I don't even know now. That's bad that I don't remember. Um, but yeah, I don't know. What shall we do now? Shall we play a game or something? Shall we do a thing? I made oh, one thing I want to talk about. Okay. I don't know how many of you this interests because you probably aren't fans, but that that Pokemon Direct happened on Friday, and I was like, I need to play Pokemon again, man. Like I know it's gone downhill, okay. Sure, but like sometimes you just got to play Pokemon, man. Sometimes there's just a need, a desire, a primal urge since the dawn of time that, to play Pokemon. Um, so I actually just earlier. I know we were still in the middle of the Fire Red Nuzlocke. Okay, so I still have that like stream scene set up, but I also just set up one for DS games and 3DS games. In case I'm ever like, yo, let me play Pokemon Black or White on stream, bro. Let's do a playthrough of those, for whatever reason, just out of nowhere, because I'm like, I want to play bad. Um, but the other idea I had was, and this is more specific, um, I watched some Wolf Glick videos, who's a very popular and very accomplished Pokemon VGC player. Uh, I played Fire Emblem Awakening. I have that. Um, but what was I saying? shoot. Oh yeah, I was watching him, and he made a video a couple months ago about Pokemon draft leagues, and I think I used to watch some of them like before, like when I was younger. But I was like, man, that sounds like really fun to do. But then like I have nobody to do that with. Like I have nobody that I think would really realistically be interested because one, it's Pokemon, so automatically it kind of cuts some people off. Two, it's competitive Pokemon, which cuts off more people. And then three, it's like a big investment of time because Pokemon draft leagues take like months. um, and just a lot of prep work each week. But I was like, I would love to do this. It sounds so much fun. And also, um, I, I love Pokemon. I played a lot. I've never really been into competitive Pokemon, so I was like, this would be like a whole new part of the game that I've never really explored before. So I thought that'd be really fun. Hit me up if you would be interested in joining a Pokemon draft league. But yeah, so that's that. All right. Let me look. What would be a good game to play? Let me check this out right here. Right here. Oh my god, you know what we could play? Bro, we could play Super Seducer 2. I've been saving it for this very moment. Playing the Super Seducer 2. Oh man, should I really just drop it? Just shadow drop starting Super Seducer 2 without even like announcing it? Tell your friends. Tell your friends we're playing Super Seducer. Oh, I don't know yet. Yeah, I don't know, man. Not a lot of games. I could play. I could just play some Slay the Spire in preparation for Slay the Spire 2 coming out. Sheesh. Yeah, man. I don't know. Anybody else got ideas? What would you like to do for the rest of the stream? I don't know how long this is gonna be. Never played Monster Hunter. Only on 3DS. And I think it being on 3DS affected my opinion. Because I don't feel like it's the type of game that's like, ah yes, this was made to be played on a portable console with one thumbstick. Psychoanalyze ChatGPT. You know what? So another person I consulted about today, was my other friend, was Duxon. So I asked him, I was like, I think I want to stream tomorrow. And, I was like, what should I do though? Like, what should I do? And he said, one thing he said was, go to r/am I the asshole, and like just talk about it from a therapist lens, like a couples counselor, which is interesting. Perhaps shall we see what's happening here? Let me see right quick. Let me pull this up. Let's see how far this goes. It may or may just be terrible. So let me studio mode. All right. Okay. Here we go. We are in here. do... Can I do better with my placement of this? Hold up. We got it. We got it, bros. Let's see. And... Okay, sorry. I know you guys love to see me, like, just talk about, like, what I'm, you know, all the behind the scenes. I know you love the behind the scenes stream stuff. R/am I the asshole? Alright. I mean, this is the top. This was posted 2 hours ago and already has 1.6k upvotes and 340 comments. I don't anticipate this being anything good, so let's see what happens. Let's see here. Hold on, can I put this over here? No, I'll put it on the side. Yes, thank you. Alright. Alright, am I the asshole for prioritizing my nanny over my brother and his family? Off the bat, okay, just from headlines, nanny over family is a bit rough, okay? Let's read further. I'm a single mom to 3 kids, 8, 5, 4. I have a nanny, Amelia, 20, that picks the kids up from school, takes them to their extracurriculars, manages homework, and sets up dates for the kids. Amelia's family is complicated. She moved in with my grandmother at 15 and no longer speaks to her parents. Amelia's grandmother was her best friend. She also became an adoptive grandparent to my kids. How does that work? What? She also became an adoptive grandparent to my kids. But they're your... How do you adopt someone else's kids without, like, they're still your kids? What does that mean? That you were just like, oh, you're their grandparent now? I don't think that's, like, adoption. She knew their birthdays, sent cookies, and had all of us over for dinner every couple weeks. Her grandmother passed over the summer. Amelia told me that she was planning to move out of her grandmother's house because she couldn't stay there without her. She asked me to help her look at apartments. My house has a finished basement with a bedroom, bathroom, kitchenette, and living room. I offered for Amelia to move into the basement and have her pay $300 a month. Ooh, okay. $300 a month, including utilities. This is a deal, bro. She's giving Amelia that family discount. She's been here for 5 months and it's been great. It's almost like having a 4th child, but one that cooks and does the girl's hair in the morning. Also, she never said how old she is. I mean, kids 8 to 4. Like, she could be as young as, like, I mean, theoretically as young as, like, 26 or 24. But she could also be as old as, like, in her 40s. So, it's a pretty big difference. Especially saying it's like having another kid for a 20-year-old. Let's see. My brother called a few weeks ago saying that he and his wife were losing their apartment. He asked if he, his wife, and their kids could move into the basement apartment. I told him Amelia was living in the apartment and I couldn't just kick her out. He suggested moving her into the guest room / the kids' playroom so they could stay in the apartment. But I told him I won't be displacing Amelia. He and the rest of my family are upset that I'm prioritizing my nanny over my brother and his family when I could easily move her into the playroom to make things work for everyone. Okay, so this is it's a tough one. Okay, so are we working under finders keepers? You know, first to the spot. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm mixing up all kinds of sayings right now. I think it's tough because she definitely has like an attachment, maybe more than just um, like I wouldn't say this is abnormal to especially because she's been a there for a long time, right? Like she said she's known them. It seems like for like she seems like she's known them for like 5 years or something like that. Um, so it's what do you guys think before I say anything? Because I'm struggling to think. Let's see, we're going cold silent right now. Code silent. Still haven't watched The Housemaid. This isn't The Housemaid. Maybe it is. I haven't seen it either, so maybe it is. Is this the plot to The Housemaid? What would you do in this situation, chat? Would you move your nanny that's currently living in your basement? Would you move her to the kids' playroom and let your brother and his wife be in this downstairs apartment thing, or would you just say, nah, I already got somebody living there? All right, let me put a poll up. Let's see what people say. Sheesh. Like I said, I'm getting back into the swing of things. Let's see. Brother. Nanny. Who gets the basement? Alright. The poll was up. Who you giving the basement apartment to? The brother or the nanny? So basically, Cosmo, this woman of 3 children has a nanny. She's had a tough life. Lived with her grandma since she was 15. Lived with her. They were very close. Her grandma died. So then she let the nanny live with them in their basement, like finished basement, for $300 a month. And then her brother and wife are losing their apartment, and they also have 4 kids. That's another thing. They have 4 kids. They asked if they could move into that like finished basement apartment, and she said, "Nah, I'm keeping the nanny." So right now, we got 3 votes. It's 4 votes. 3 for the nanny, 1 for brother. Again, yeah, I do think it kind of depends on how hard up like the brother situation is. Like, he literally like gonna be homeless, or is it like he needs a place to crash for a little bit before he gets another place? What was the? I guess it's only been up 2 hours, so there's no consensus yet. Okay, I'm trying to think if I were in this situation. Well, to be fair, she's 20. It's not a kid. The nanny is 20 years old. But, yeah, right up here. It's Amelia, 20. Again, I think it just depends on the brother's situation, like how bad it is. Like, first of all, I'd be like, is he willing to pay? Right now it's going for $300 a month. Are you paying that rent that she's, giving away by not, like, and then you're asking like, hey, move her to, this one have her live in a kid's playroom for any amount of time. Let's see, what are the comments saying? Not the asshole. You don't have a basement apartment available. You have a tenant. Amelia pays rent and is entitled to the same protections as any other tenant. The family bitching at you can step up for your brother and provide him with housing. Okay. Not the asshole. I also bet your brother would expect her to watch his kids without any additional payment to her. She's already watching your kids. Why can't she just... Okay, well, this person's just, like, assuming, okay? Like, I don't agree with that. That's just making assumptions. Why can't the rest of the family take them in? That's true. You have a tenant, so the apartment's not available. Also true. All right. The vote ended up being 3-2. Okay. So it seems like everybody on Reddit was pretty much in agreement. What the hell is this random thing? What is this one? Holy crap. Would I be the asshole for suing my friend when she didn't come to my wedding? Excuse me? I need to read this one. Oh my god, look at all this. Would I be the asshole for suing my friend when she didn't come to my wedding? Alright. I, 25 female, recently got married to my husband in Bali, Indonesia in January. It was a destination wedding, but my parents and his parents paid for their own plane tickets and hotel, but we paid for our friends' plane tickets and hotel stays. Each plane ticket was about $2,000. First of all, destination weddings, like, bad idea, okay? Somebody's gonna get mad. Somebody's gonna be upset with a destination wedding. No doubt about it. Especially if you're trying to have a big destination wedding. I feel like if you want to have a big wedding, you know, like, just have that at home or where people can easily get to. Then if you want to have a destination wedding, like, just bring your parents and siblings, you know, maybe your best friends. Just have, like, 20 to 30 people come along, you know. Anyway. I think it was about $2,000 and the hotel was about $150 to $300 for a week. My friend Gemma, I see the problem here. She has a friend named Gemma. Brought along her newlywed husband John along, but paid for his plane ticket. The problem is that Gemma and John did not show up to my wedding. Gemma took the free plane ticket to Bali in the hotel room, and when I asked her why she didn't show up, she said that since they couldn't afford their own honeymoon, that this was a perfect opportunity, and that Jim decided that he didn't feel like going. I was really hurt by this since Gemma and I have been friends for over 10 years. Would I be the asshole if I took her to small claims court for the money I spent on the plane ticket and hotel? Oh my god. That is... So she took the plane ticket and hotel. Imagine that. Like, you go to the hotel and find them, and you're like, why the fuck didn't you come to the wedding today? And they're like, oh man, we're on vacation, bro. We're having our honeymoon. Like, thanks for the tickets, bro. Like I didn't want to go to your wedding. Sorry, my husband didn't want to go to your wedding, even though I'm one of your best friends. So I decided not to. See ya. Thanks for the money. Like, oh my god. I'd just say not the asshole. Like, your friend is just being a bitch. Soraya says, I think that counts as theft. It could. Very possibly. Yeah. What is the updates? I messaged Gemma per multiple comments advising me to invoice her for the plane ticket and hotel room, but I did something a little better. I wanted to get proof, so if I had to go to court, it would be easier to win. I messaged her this. Hey, sorry for being so distant, but I just wanted to talk to you about Bali. I'm hurt that you didn't show up to the ceremony. I pulled a lot of strings to ensure that you could come, and then you didn't show up. Did you think I paid for the trip just so you could honeymoon with John? She replied, I've missed you a lot, and I know the trip was for your wedding, but John didn't want to go because he felt like your wedding ruined the illusion of the trip being our honeymoon, and that you'd understand. Oh my good. That's terrible. Like, imagine pretending that you're somebody's friend and possibly actually thinking that you're somebody's friend and yet saying that to them. I replied, no, I don't understand. You took advantage of me, and that's not what real friends do. So I'm sending invoicing you $2,387.53 for the cost of the plane ticket and hotel room. I'll give you 30 days, and after that, I will be taking legal action. I received no response, but she's been posting subliminal quotes on Instagram that are along the lines of entitled friends and having snakes in your life. Thank you for all your verdicts and help. Oh no, I hate when there's snakes in your life asking you to pay for the money you've spent. Edit part 2. I didn't think this could get worse, but here we are. I didn't respond to any of the subliminal messages she posted about me on social media, and I've been very quiet while I've been getting my ducks in a row for the litigation. But the past Friday, she sent me a 3-page audit of financial and emotional contributions from 2015 to present. I wish I was fucking joking. The audits. She itemized every dinner or lunch we've ever ate together. She estimated about $18 per meal. Gas money for driving to and from hangouts. A birthday gift from 2017 that she now claims she went into debt for. Time spent emotionally supporting me after my dad passed. She said she took on the role of a grief counselor for me, even though I talked to her on the phone about it once for 30 minutes. One time she helped me move apartments. She wants to be paid for her labor and emotional distress caused by me threatening litigation. Her grand total, $2,412, 0.09, which is conveniently within $25 of what I invoiced her. She then told me that if we were really keeping score, that I actually owe her $25. I think I stared at that document for 10 minutes in silence, in shock from the audacity, because this bitch is delusional. Oh my god. Wow. Cosmo, are you a lawyer? Would need a written contract that giving plane tickets means you must go to wedding. I mean, probably if you really wanted to threaten legal action, like, get that 100%, but, like, that's crazy. I mean, the audacity of this bitch, you know, like, oh my god. Can't believe I'm saying this, but not the asshole. Oh my god, that is crazy. Oh god. Would I be the asshole for asking future parents-in-law to sign a contract? This one was posted 23 minutes ago. Oh, it was deleted. Rip. Womp womp. Alright. Let's look at the top for, like, I don't know, top for this month. What's going on around the world? Oh, this one's not safe for work. Do we want to read the not safe for work one? Chat, are we going for the not safe for work? Am I the asshole for telling our roommate she might need to move out if she keeps complaining about hearing us at night? Doesn't say not safe for YouTube. That's true. That's true. Good point. Good point. All right, let's go. Could be spicy. What's up, Sleazy? When did you get here? Hold up. Oh, you were here a little bit earlier. All right. My boyfriend and I let a friend he's known since childhood stay at our place because housing is expensive and her university is nearby. She stays here 5 days a week and goes home on weekends. We don't charge her rent and we pay for utilities and groceries while she's here. So basically, she has like pretty much no room to complain about most things. I mean, if she's getting, 5 days a week for free, basically, no rent, no utilities, and groceries. She has her own bathroom and full access to basically everything. Things, the kitchen, pool and sauna? These people were rich, bro. What the heck? Her bedroom isn't next to ours. Hold on. I was gonna say, it doesn't say if they have an apartment or house, because if they're in an apartment, the apartment complex has a sauna. But if it's a house and they just have a sauna in their house, then these people are rich. Okay. Her bedroom isn't next to ours. Between our bedroom and her space is computer working space, and her bathroom is also in between, so there's some separation. A few months ago, she told us that she could hear us being intimate at night, and it made her uncomfortable. We said we'd try to be quieter when she's around. Since then, she has brought it up multiple times. Recently, she asked if she could switch rooms. The only rooms we could realistically swap would be the one my 7-year-old sister uses when she sleeps over, or my hobby room. All the other rooms are already set up permanently. We don't need to rearrange our home for this, especially since we intended to help her out. After the latest complaint, I told her calmly but firmly that we've adjusted as much as we think is fair. I said if this will keep being an issue, maybe this living situation isn't a good fit, and she might need to find another place to stay. She thinks I'm being unfair. I'm sorry. This whole, it's just funny. This whole time reading that, it just made me think of that meme where it's like, guys be afraid to be making noise when they having sex. I'd be in her ear like, ah. It just made me think of that this whole time I was reading it. Oh man, I'd be in her ear like, ah. That's, oh my god. I'm sorry. That's too much. Obviously they're not the asshole here, but I want to see what people are saying. Do I get this right? She gets free housing and food. Bro, all she has the only price she has to pay for living at this place is hearing her friends fucking, bro. That's the only price. Would you be able to hold on? Let me make another pool for this. Not if she's the asshole. Would you live with a friend if the only rent was hearing them fuck? Can I type the F word? Can I say that in a pool? Apparently I can. Let's go. Would you be able to live in that living arrangement? Or would you be too uncomfortable? I mean, it's a serious question, Apparently she cannot do it. She cannot make it. She ain't gonna make it. Whew. Cheap rent is cheap rent. I'm in. Somebody said no. Who is it that said no? I know the polls are anonymous, but who said no, bro? I mean, for free, bro. For free. I like this guy. We don't charge her rent and we pay for utilities and groceries. He just says, you can do whatever the fuck you like. She can live with it. That's true, that's true. Recently, she asked if we could switch rooms, and the answer is yes. She should find a room outside your house and switch to it. Damn. Who lives with someone for free? Who? Okay, we got 5 votes. Who is the no? I must know. Give me a sign. Who said no? That they would not be able to live if they heard their best friends fucking. Actually, it's not even like best friends. It's just he just says a friend that he's known since childhood. Come on, you can't handle it? You can't handle the heat, bro? He can't handle the heat. Alright, next one. It says... I'm sorry, think of that meme, man. That's too much. That's too much. Alright. Let's see. Going to my sister-in-law's baby shower. My asshole for my friend. My asshole my friend ruined my Yijing teapot. I don't care, man. Where's the funny ones at? We need the funny ones. Oh my god, that one's crazy. Am I the asshole for asking my friend to pay me back for the wine he drank while house sitting? Mommy. What is this term? Am I the asshole for telling my sister to stop mommy jacking every conversation and to let me talk about myself? That's a new term. Mommy jacking. Guys, what did you do when you were a child and you walked into your parents' bedroom and caught your mom mommy jacking? What did you do? Any of you guys ever walk in on your mother mommy jacking? No? Okay. We'll move on. Okay, we got another nonsense. I should just filter for the not safe for work ones because they're probably the funniest ones. Alright. Would I be the asshole if I told my neighbor that I can see everything? Oh no. It's already starting bad. Not totally sure this fits here, but I would like some advice about how to approach the subject with my neighbor. I live in an apartment complex and we all have floor-to-ceiling windows. I have a neighbor who lives a few floors down. We've spoken maybe 5 words to each other. The thing I don't know how to bring up is her window faces my window at a pretty weird angle. So anytime I look out my window, it's like a perfect view of her apartment. Recently, she's been walking around a lot less clothed, going to the bathroom with the door open, things like that. So anytime I look out the window, it's just right there. I'm literally not trying to be a creep. I'll be checking to see if a friend is pulling up or watching the birds with my cats, whatever it is, but it's the first thing I end up seeing. Hold on. He's like this. Hold up. Let me get this. This is what he's. What is what's it called? he's literally this. Oh my god, why is it so small, bro? Why is this GIF so small? What the hell? Oh, what the heck? Why can't I pull it up? Hold up. There's gotta be a better version of this. I think you shout out if anybody can tell what meme I'm looking up right now. Put your guesses in chat about what meme I'm looking up right now. Is this really the biggest one? Oh yeah, okay. Here it is. It's this one. Bet. This is him looking out his window. If you can see her, she can see you. she has to already know. This is him looking out his window into her window every day. Alright, I've been mulling over how to bring this up in any of the elevator rides together, but I have no idea if I should just let it be or tell her that her windows are just as visible as mine are. You can see directly into my apartment if you're walking down the block, so I installed blackout curtains. Oh man, I love that meme. I love that gif. This whole stream is just devolving. I'm falling apart. My mental state is deteriorating. Oh man, not the asshole, but just be direct and tell her in a way that doesn't make you seem like a creep. Hey, just a heads up, your apartment is very visible from my window, so other people can probably see in as well. Might want to install some curtains. Alright, well, that one's pretty... We need some tough ones, bro. That first one was kind of tough with the nanny and the brother. We need some more tough ones. What's top this year, bro? Am I the asshole? Alright, let's do this one. What is this? Apparently it's not the a-hole poo mode. Do you guys see this? You guys see this? Not the a-hole poo mode. Alright, I gotta see what poo mode means. I, 42 male, have 2 kids living with me. My daughter, Anya, 17. Special Reddit poo features. My daughter, Anya, 17, and my stepson, Noah, 14. Noah's mom passed a few years ago, and I've had full custody since. He's had a rough go of it, but he's a good kid with his quirks. He's not antisocial or shy, but he does not appreciate having his space invaded, and when very upset, he can kind of shut down. Anya is much more outgoing and has a lot of friends. She asked to have a sleepover this weekend with 4 of them. I said yes, of course, but given that the friends who were coming were pretty loud and have a tendency to crowd Noah, I told her to make sure they didn't go into their brother's room. Also to keep things down after 11 so that the house can sleep. In my opinion, these were not strict rules. To my surprise, I came downstairs to check on them at about 10. They are 17. I didn't think I needed to check on them every hour or something, and they were in Noah's room, and they looked like they'd been there a while. 2 were literally sitting on his bed with him there. One of them was flipping through his sketchbook, another was messing with his other stuff, and they were all kind of giggling in this weird way. They were giggling in this weird way. Weird giggling. Noah was clearly upset. He didn't say anything or move, but there were tears in his eyes, and he didn't respond when I tried to talk to him. I told the girls to get out right then, and that I was calling every single one of their parents. Anya was pretty upset with me. I told her that I gave them 2 rules, and they were failed spectacularly. I did actually call all of their parents and sent them home as soon as possible. Anya blew up saying I embarrassed her. I told her to go to her room and that we would speak on this in the morning. I spent about 20 minutes with Noah before he decided he wanted to cool down on his own. and I went back to my daughter, who chose not to speak to me. It's late. Both of my kids are hopefully asleep, and I'm left not knowing if I handled things right. When did bro write this? Did bro write this at like midnight? Anyway, I don't know. I think he handled it pretty well. He laid out clear expectations. This is like how I would tell somebody to parent, basically. Like, lay out clear expectations. When those expectations are broken, follow up, with the correct consequences. I mean, look, they're 17, bro. Like, calling parents is not a bad, like, punishment. Like, oh, wait, that happened that night. So he sent them home that night. He called them, was like, yo, come get your kid, bro. Come get your demon spawn out of my house. Get the hell out of my house. That's kind of crazy, but like, I don't know. I think besides maybe like going slightly overboard, but I think he handled it well. Yeah, like they said that. And honestly, it's strange that four 17-year-old girls decided to spend their evening harassing a 14-year-old boy. Is it really strange, though? Like, it's rude, but is it really strange? Yo, what's up, Seb? Bro, I like the look. Thanks, dude. I need a haircut, but mostly, I don't hate my hair like this. I just, it's hard to manage. Like, I gotta go into work every day and look all professional and stuff, and like, it's hard. It's hard with this. Hold on, I'm gonna be right back. I need a little snack. I'll be right back. It's not the most professional, but a good look. To be fair, I don't need to rock like at work. I don't need to like wear a suit or anything. I just like I mostly wear like quarter zips. I wear dress shoes, like dress pants, like khakis or like just black dress pants. And then like quarter zips or sweaters. Like I don't wear like button ups usually. Um, but I've never gotten in trouble with like my beard or hair. In fact, my boss was like, "Oh, I like the beard." I was like, "Okay, dude, thanks, bro." Quarter zip mafia, hell yeah, let's go. So yeah, hold up, I'm gonna go get a snack real quick, just because I like literally feel myself like I don't know, like being unfed. I don't know what starving? No, I'm not starving, but like I'm getting kind of shaky. I shall be back. All right, what's up? I'm back. I just gotta little bar here. What were we talking about? Talking about quarter zips? Oh yeah, my look. Seb coming in. Coming in hot. How you doing, Seb, if you're still here? Also, I apologize for the rapper sounds. I also apologize for the chewing sounds. I don't know about blood sugar. I'm not diabetic or anything. I just haven't really eaten anything today. And getting up in front of people and talking, it's pretty draining. See you, Sleazy. Hope you have a good day as well. Hope you had a good weekend. Oh yeah. So, Cereza, you said it's kind of weird. I mean, it is a little weird, but like, is there anything older sisters like to do more than harass their younger brothers? I didn't think so. They love doing that shit. Anybody have an older sister? Exactly. They be doing that. Thank you for clarifying, Joel. I'm glad to know that your sister is alive and well. I didn't think it was inappropriate. I mean, it was inappropriate in that they were asked not to and they were being rude. But like, they didn't. They were just like going through his things, jumping on his bed or something. Yo, this chick comes in hard, bro. Not the asshole. Your daughter needs to be punished. Bruh. Not the asshole. Your daughter must be punished. Like, okay. Chill down, Karen, okay? Am I the asshole? My husband will invite his family and friends over without telling me until that day. He then expects me to clean, run to the store, and prep. I mean, unless they really were just. I mean, there's like no way this could not be anything other than. Like, there's no way this could be anything other than not the asshole, just from the title. Kind of hate these ones that lay it out so much that just reading the title, you're like, duh, why are you even fucking posting this? Alright, here's a good one. That's true, I guess. That's true. Depends. Could just be having somebody over. Yeah, that's true. Like, I'll have my friends over sometimes. And my mom's like, aren't you going to clean up? And I'm like what? I'm just having my friends over to play board games. You think I need to, like, I have 3 friends that come to play board games. I'm like, you think I need to clean every room in the house for them to come sit at the dining room table and play video or board games with me? Like, I'll clean the dining room and the bathroom. Those are the only places they're using. Oh my god. Your mom might have OCD. I'm just joking. Alright. 50-year-old guy. My son, 17, recently got into a car accident with a drunk driver. I'm very thankful that he is alive, obviously. but his car is totaled. The drunk driver was driving a pickup, and my son drives a small old convertible. Most likely the reason for the amount of damage. And he's fairly injured, i.e., multiple breaks, lots of scratches, etc., and is currently recovering. This all occurred last week on Saturday, the night of the accident. My family, wife 45, daughter 14, my family got there, I want to say an hour before his girlfriend. When she came in, she ran to him in the hospital bed and started hugging and kissing him. Mainly lips, but other places on his face too. Okay. She stayed for most of the night checking up on him and being supportive, and I was happy that my son and his girlfriend had such a good relationship. As we were driving home that night, my wife said that she was upset I didn't say anything to my son's girlfriend. I asked why I would have, as she was being a good partner. My wife said that it felt weird seeing that, especially in front of his family. I said that he was going off to college regardless, and that she was being a really nice partner, and that night showed us how much she truly cared for him. She rushed off of work to get there and was still wearing her work clothes as she got there. My wife started getting angrier and said that she thought it was gross and that I should just ask her to leave sometime. I told her that I'm not telling my hospitalized son that I'm taking away something clearly makes him happy. She told me that it was gross and that I needed to put a stop to it. I told her she was worrying about the wrong thing and that anything that brought our son comfort was good. My brother had taken my daughter home before this. She didn't hear us arguing. She told me I needed to step up and do my job, and I've kept thinking about it, and I've started to keep thinking about it, and thinking that okay, this guy's not a great writer, but thoughts on this situation, boys. Is it bad to let your son's girlfriend kiss him? Sounds like marital problems. Amen. Yeah, I love that though. Is it bad for your son to have a girlfriend and that this girlfriend kisses him? Evil mommy, evil mommy. The son probably walked in on her mommy jacking sometime and now she's mad at him. Your wife is being really weird about this. Why? Going out on a limb here, I bet your wife identifies as a boy mom. Ew. Boy mom equals emotional incest / unhealthy attachment. Damn, bro. Am I the asshole who, like, go in on people harder than any other place on the internet sometimes? They will just rip apart a person's character from, like, 3 paragraphs. Literally 3 paragraphs written about this one situation, and somebody's calling her, like, a fucking emotional incest. Like, bruh. That's crazy. Your wife is acting like she's jealous. Oh, man. She wanted to be the one kissing her son. Oh, man. Now we got an asshole poo mode. Oh, my God. Asshole poo mode. Alright. I, 23, bake as a hobby, and I'm actually pretty good at it. Like, I get paid under the table for weddings and baby showers, kind of good. My sister is pregnant and wanted me to make a cake for her gender reveal. Cool, no problem. I asked her to send me the info so I could prep the inside, classic pink or blue filling. She said, "Oh no, I want to be surprised too. Just make it neutral for the reveal, and we'll all find out together." I was like, "Huh? So you want a gender reveal cake with no gender revealed?" She says she'll have someone email the info to me later. That someone never did. Deadline comes, I still have no gender, so I make the cake. It's gray inside, gray outside, just full on cement vibes. I even added a little fondant clouds for effect. It still tasted great, but visually grim as hell. The reveal day comes, they cut into it, and my sister looks pissed. Her husband is confused. People start murmuring. Then she pulls me aside. "Why would you make it gray? That's so passive aggressive." Calmly reminded her that no one told me the gender. I literally had no data to work with, and I told her I wasn't about to guess or go full improv on somebody's baby cake. Now my mom says I embarrassed her in front of the family and that I should have tried harder. Tried harder to do what? Someone summon the gender through vibes? So, am I the asshole for making the most neutral reveal cake in history? Well, there's a difference between making it neutral, like, and like, just literally you said you made it some like cement with clouds. I mean, yeah, you're the asshole. Make the freaking make it pink and blue. Like, I don't know, not gray. Like, this guy is the asshole poo mode. This guy absolutely is the poo mode asshole. Right, even like white. Hell, make it green. White, green, orange, purple, colors, any colors. Red. That actually makes me want to look up what gray cake looks like. I mean, even then, this isn't gray inside. This is what it looked like. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but like I wouldn't want that. I think gray is an underappreciated color. I like the color gray. Not for this event though. Um, not feeling that. Well, what is when a post is in poo mode? Only users with enough subreddit. Why is it called poo mode? Introducing poo mode. Proctology only orifices. What the fuck? What is this? Am I the asshole for refusing to change somebody's baby's diaper? Introducing poo mode. I thought Reddit poo. Well, I think it's just for this. I think it's just for Am I the Asshole, the subreddit. Hold on, look at this one. Hold up. Am I the asshole for connecting to the ear pod after my niece swallowed it to see if it would play in her stomach? When my 3-year-old niece swallowed my sister's left AirPod, I liked that he clarified that it was the left ear AirPod. Everybody started worrying right away. I was trying to lighten the situation, so I connected the AirPod to my phone and put my ear on the stomach to her stomach to check if I could hear it. Surprisingly, I actually did hear a little sound coming from inside her, which made the moment a bit funny for me. But the people around us didn't really find it amusing. They all looked at me like I wasn't taking things seriously at all. I was just trying to calm the mood. But instead, I ended up being the only one laughing while everyone else was still stressing about the AirPod inside her. I don't know, man. Like, what's an AirPod gonna do? You know? People aren't even really answering this seriously either. Yeah, like if it's in her stomach, like what is she gonna have a? She gonna have problems passing it? Like, okay, yeah, maybe that's bad. Like, what do you do in that situation, though? Surely not something a random person would just be able to do. Oh no. This one is radioactive. Am I the asshole for telling my friend she's in the same league as men she calls ugly? This is some radioactive shit right here. All right. Sorry. My friend, 19, downloaded dating apps like Tinder and Hinge for the first time a few weeks ago. First mistake. For reference, she's the type that always says she wants a boyfriend, wants to do couple things, feels lonely, single, etc. She's also, IMO, at least very normal and average looking, looks wise. Not ugly, not super hot, just alright. Since then, she's been complaining to me that almost all men there are ugly, short, etc., and that she doesn't match with anybody hot. I asked to see which people she was calling ugly, and so she showed me her likes, and it's mostly showed people perfectly in her league, as in moderately attractive guys. I told her that these guys were in her league and she should give some of them a chance since she's already complains about wanting to be in a relationship. She denied that she's in the same league and said that she's much more attractive than them. I pointed out that in her own words, she doesn't match with any of the guys she doesn't find attractive. Pointed out that in her own words, she doesn't match with any of the guys she doesn't find attractive, so she's not in their league. She said I was an asshole. Am I? Okay. That last snippy comment at the end where it's like I pointed out that she's not matching with any of the hot guys, so she's not in their league. That's kinda asshole-ish, but like I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. Just saying everyone sucks here. Why is like everyone sucks here because believing in leagues is so shallow and dumb. Well, she's the one bringing it up. This person just says, "Oh, you're a guy." Like, bro, like, what does that change? You're the asshole? Ain't no way, bro. Do you? Oh, that's great. All right. I think we've had our. I think we've had our fill of "Am I the Asshole" for now. It was a fun side quest. It's a fun adventure. And honestly, I mean, we've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes now. I didn't really expect this to be a long one. It was kind of just to get back to streaming. Like I said, probably want to stream again either Thursday or Friday night when Slay the Spire 2 comes out, playing that. Yo, what's up, Juki? At the very end, he comes in. Dookie popping in at the very last second, right as I was about to close down. I feel like you do that sometimes. But yeah, so either Thursday or Friday, Slay the Spire 2. And like I was talking with Cereza, trying to come up with something to maybe make a video on. Don't expect a video soon because I have to basically learn how to edit and do things like that from scratch. Like I was telling him, I've never even like clipped anything before, like from a movie or something. Never done that, so I will have to learn many things. Despite streaming, I am pretty technologically like stupid. I'm technologically inept, I should say. When are we hopping on Deadlock? What the heck is up with everybody coming in here right at the end? Like, what? Dookie and Ducks just pop in, like, right when I'm leaving. Like, what is happening? Like, you couldn't say anything before? You couldn't talk earlier? Like, it's okay. But yeah, Thursday or Friday, Slay the Spire 2. Gonna try and think of things to make videos about. Gotta learn how to edit shit. But also be aware, I have a job that kills me. Like, drains me a lot, so don't expect any video in, like, the next, at least month. So, yeah. Any final words? Thank you, Duxon. Thank you, thank you. It's very patchy, but, you know, I'm trying. But yeah, any final words? Any final words today? My next movie that I want to watch? Because we're going back to the 150 movies thing. Hold on, let me read off all the movies I've watched so far this year. I don't remember what Deadlock is. Anyway, so far this year, I've watched 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, Once Upon a Time in the West, Notorious, True Grit, The Outlaw Josie Wales, Jojo Rabbit, Decision to Leave, Collateral, Fargo, Taxi Driver, Blood Simple, When Harry Met Sally, The Last Picture Show, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, Roma, Nosferatu, 8.5, Elevator to the Gallows, La Dolce Vita, 20th Century Women, Jules and Jim, Moonrise Kingdom, Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, The Graduate, The Apartment, Philadelphia Story, Midnight Cowboy, Dog Day Afternoon, His Girl Friday, The Big Chill, Tootsie, Fanny and Alexander, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, The Mirror, Stalker, Annie Hall, and Persona. So far, those are the movies I've watched this year. I don't know what's next. The older True Grit. I actually need to watch the new one. I've heard it's also good. Actually, I've heard it might be better. So, isn't it a Coen Brothers movie? So, but yeah. I watched the John Wayne version. Pretty good, pretty good. But yeah. See you next time, I guess. I don't know. Maybe Thursday, Friday. We'll see if I can get to 40 by then. 40 movies. But yeah, take care, everybody. Hope you have a good finish to your weekend. Have a good week. I'll try and be in touch. Can't wait for Slay the Spire 2. Bye.